Alright, in previous video, we create a large DB2 sample database using the TPC-H dbgen utility. So we'll continue in this video and going to create a similar thing in SQL Server. So let me scroll down the page to the SQL Server portion. Okay, so it's going to be part 2. So part 2 is going to be we're going to compile the dbgen utility and run the db2gen utility to create Microsoft SQL Server data. Okay, and SQL Server is fine. So let's let me log on to the server. So the server, we have 3 database running. So all the condition is same. Okay, they run the same time. So that means when we run the load data, so they are on the same environment. So we can compare, the data loading speed. All right, so let's continue. So I'm gonna log on to the remote server using the root. As I said, the root is just for convenience for this time, okay? And server host name is H2, okay? So let's do the, let's first, I'm gonna go to the source code where we put it in the home TPC, TPC and dbgen this directory. So let's see, that is the last time we did, okay? So I'm gonna remove those table file, the text file that is generated last time for db2. And let me just remove it, okay? So now we did the cleanup, so we're gonna make a change to the makefile, okay? So the makefile, it's basically just change from db2 to SQL Server. So we basically have like 4 places we can change, right? GCC is the compiler, database is db2, so now we're gonna change to SQL Server. Platform, it is Linux. Workload the TPC-H, so we just copy here SQL Server, okay? So it's a SQL Server. All right, so then we just compile this. Nothing to be done. I see. We need to remove the O file. Let me remove this O file. This is last time compiled, so let's see. Gonna remove this O file and then recompile again. Okay, so gonna make the file. So the compile and link. Okay, so let's see the. You see, this is the dbgen is generated right now. Okay, so the db2 generated. So now we're gonna run this command to create like 2 gig files, 2 gig data file for load. Okay, so gonna be not db2. It's going to be dot dbgen. Don't remember last time how long it takes, but like some 10 seconds, I think. All right, so it's going to be scale factor is 2 gig, and we're going to use -v for the verbals, okay? All right, you're going to work on the supplier or suppliers, okay? So it's going to be the supplier table. So let's take a look. rs. Okay, it's going to go to this location, TCP dbgen. Okay. Yeah, the supplier. Okay. So the supplier table, now it's working on the customer table. Okay. So I will let it run. Let's move on to the database creation part. Okay. Let's get the text file one more time. So I'm going to see. We're gonna create a database called the sample, and then create those table use the DDL. So I'm gonna this time it's gonna sudo to a user. So this time I'm gonna sudo to a user named DBA. The reason is with this user I can connect a database without needing the password. It's like a Windows login, not the SQL login. Okay. So I'm going to use this user. You can see it's a domain user. So, and also this instance was configured to be able to Windows login or SQL Server. It's mixed mode. Okay, so you can either log on as a local user or domain user. Okay, not local user. I mean the SQL login. Okay, so but for simplicity, I just use a user can use AD to log on, like similar like working in the Windows environment. All right, so now let's do SQL CMD minus E. Okay, so if you do this, you will see I'm connected to the database. Okay, so I'm gonna use the command line. So in this way, it's relatively easy for me. So I'm gonna use minus Q to run a query to see what are the version of this SQL Server is. It's going to be 2019 on the Linux. So this is the most recent one, January 2002. CU15. All right, so now we're going to create a database. So we're going to create a database. Just repeat this from command line. It's create database sample. Before I created this one, because most people in the SQL Server world, they probably prefer use the SSMS. So I'm also going to show so I'm going to connect this database. You see the instance name or host name is H2. I'm going to use the SQL login. Okay, so I'm in the SQL login. Right now it's empty. Oh, this is a sample database. Let me remove this previous. So I'm going to remove this sample database. Okay, so it's clean. So I'm gonna back to the command line. So I'm going to go ahead to create this sample database. Okay, so it's created, and then I'm going to cd to that location to run the DDLs. Okay, so it's going to be, let's see, cd to what's going on? Okay, here cd2/home. This is directory dbgen. Okay, so let's see. Okay, it's 6 table. There's now one more table, 1 or 2 tables. So okay, in this directory, what we can do, we're gonna create this tables in the database. Okay, this is DDL. So you see, create a nation, region, part, supply, and the parts sub, customer, and orders and line and item. So this is 5 minutes. Okay, so all right, so I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna continue with this one. So I just run this. So I'm gonna use SQL CMD, SQL CMD, CMD minus E. Okay, this is trusted connection or Windows AD authentication is fine. And then minus Q, not minus Q, minus I, the input file, then use dss.ddl. So I'm going to run this, create this table inside the sample database. Okay, so it's created. If I go back the GUI, refresh, you will see where it is. Refresh. So you see the sample database created. Also, if you look at the table, this is eight tables. We just use the dss.ddl. It's created. All right, so now we're gonna start to load the data. Okay, so I'm gonna exit this session and get back that the document. Okay, so I'm using the lower window for the again. So I'm gonna sudo to the DBA user and use the DBA user to run those commands. So we already did select version, create the database, and create the tables, use the DDL. Now we are going to load the data. So for the SQL Server, here I use BCP, it's bulk copy. You can also use bulk insert. So they're probably similar, but the BCP is so it's more straightforward, similar like the load we used in the DB2 example. Okay, so let's see a little bit about the command. Okay, so BCP, this is the utility we're going to use. The supplier, that is the table name, so in the database. Okay, the second is table name. And then in, that is looking for the text file, the data file we're going to use. Okay, minus C is character. Minus T, it is the column separator, okay, like delimiter, okay. Minus capital S, that is the instance we're going to create because this is local, we use start. Minus D, it is this database sample. Minus T, it is trusted connection, and minus B is batch. So in this case, we just see you commit every 1 million rows, okay? Because the largest table will have like 12 million, something like that. So I'm going to run one of them to see how fast it is. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and run one of them. Let's see, what is the problem? Minus T, here open. Host, oh, I need to CD to that directory, so I'm going to CD to. You couldn't find the file. Okay. If I specify the absolute path, it's going to be okay. Okay. So if I, for example, copy this direction name and put it in front of here, it will run successful. Okay. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and run this one. let's see. Or this is one is fast. It's only like 20,000. So it's yeah. So let's run. Let me run a few more. Okay, so we can basically let's see. Let me copy this few lines. Okay, I'm gonna copy this 5. Okay. All right, so let's copy this 5. All right, so they are small tables. It's pretty fast. Okay, so the one is working right now. It is part supply. It's also finished. Now it's working on the order table. So then after that is nation. It's like a few rows. That's fine, pretty quick. So the order table have like 3 mini rows, something like that, right? So it's also finished pretty quick. Okay. So I'm gonna run this customer. Then the last run that so you will see how much time it's going to take, and then we compare with previous the DB2 result. Okay. So I'm gonna run the line item. So I'm gonna run this one. All right, it's gonna start a copy. Okay. So last time when we loaded the DB2 for this table, it take like 50 seconds, you know, and this one probably take like 3 to 4 minutes. That's probably like 4 times slower. Okay, and so the more data you have, you can have a better comparison. Okay, so I just let it run. And at the same time, let's do some query, okay? So it's going to start, you see, every 1 million row, they will commit, okay? And so I'm gonna go to this GUI, okay? So let's do some quick test. So I'm going to see, I'm gonna select top 1000. Just run a test. So it's probably a little bit slow because they have to connect to the remote server and fetch the data. Okay, and also right now it is loading. Okay, so we will give those data. Let's see if we want to do a count. So you see, we'll see how much data we have for this table. So we're gonna run count star. Okay. Yeah, 300,000. Okay, that is for the custom table. Okay, so let's see. Right now, it's loading nearly 10 million records, and after that, we'll see the time. Once the load is complete, so that this 2 gig database is ready. Okay, and right now there's no like key or constraint, those kind of things, but if need, we can add. Okay, so but at this moment, I'm more interested with the database size. You know, for example, if you want to run a backup, say, hey, how long it's gonna be, and we can compare. You know, like compressed, it was uncompressed. You know, something like that. All right, it's total 4 minutes, 43 seconds. Not that bad. It's nearly like 3 minutes versus 50 seconds in the DB2, right? So, and it's good to know, okay? So BCP is comparatively is also fast in the SQL Server world. All right, so that's it. So basically, let's go to the GUI again. If we want to look at the database size, we can just see the property, right? So the GUI provided certain conveniency for managing the database. So right now the size is 3 gig, 3.00, 3 gig, and yeah. All right, so I'm gonna stop here, and the next video is gonna be Oracle, because Oracle and the prep work, it's because of the container, the database, also the pluggable database, I need a little bit more prep work, okay? So, and also we can see how fast Oracle can load the data into the database. All right.